it's not showing me my Fallout screen. There it is. Alright, so here we go. Alright, on our way to tour Sommerville Place, we start at the graffitied and vandalized statue just to the north. And as we head down the road to Sommerville Place, looks like we've got the Minutemen are leaving.
Hey.
Yeah?
Huh?
So then the first thing that we do is we get to our ridiculously oversized clinic. There's 2 guard positions, one with overhead cover for the one guard to look at incoming traffic, and a place where she can actually return fire if necessary. So as you go into the clinic, it looks like my actual doc is not here, but the
You know what I call a good day? One that ends without an empty stomach.
phoropter clinic is there, and she's working. So inside my clinic, I have a waiting room outside. I've got a snack bar right here. This is actually the original resident, the father of the 2 children, working the snack bar. And then we have a drinking fountain, sink, and this is the bedroom where the doc and the phoropter technician will sleep. And their lovely view of Sommerville Place's swamp out their white picket fence balcony. Alright, so getting out of this place is a weight bench. I actually thought I had added a pommel horse to this settlement, but upon looking over it before this tour, I noticed I never found a place for it. So here is a small restroom available for people using the clinic or anyone, I guess. And so that is the start of that area. So then as you finish with looking at the clinic and the snack bar, you see these 2 marquees. One offering a pool room, clothing and hair, and snack shack to the left. To the right, food and drink and a general store. Also, public toilets, a rarity in the wasteland. So as we follow this route here, we follow this sidewalk route until we get to the general store. This general store is one of the very few buildings that I have included some stuffed animal heads. I think this is one of the very few settings where it makes sense. Inside here I have my Volt management system, and this is actually a prefab shack. I almost never build with prefab shacks, but I thought I would try it with this one. This is actually the trader's bed, and I think this is the guard's bed. They have, of course, knocked over their plate of food. It's one of the reasons I don't try to do the lived-in look for my settlements anymore, because they knock over all of this stuff, and what they don't knock over falls through the floor. Like, somewhere in here I'm missing preserved cigarettes. They were right here. I don't know where they are now. Alright, so as we leave here, there is the #1 slot machine is here. And this was a dog cage. It's currently not functional because I did not rearm it. I have 1 guard dog working here. And continuing this direction, remember I mentioned we had public lavatories? Here we go. We've got a fully functioning sink here for anybody coming to use our Voltec dining hall. Now, why the heck do I have a big Voltec section in Sommerville Place? Well, some of you might know that Volt 95, is just around the corner from here, and once we cleared it, it never really respawns. So, in my headcanon, we have salvaged some of the Voltec to help build our settlement. So here's a nice little dining area here. This is the cafeteria chef, and this is actually my clothing line gal, and down here is the lady that runs the drinking machine. So I'm getting 5 bonus happiness from this drinking machine, and here's slot machine #2, 5 bonus for that, so we're up to 15 bonus. Come up these stairs here to, well, yes, it's the actual interior for a overseer, but this is where the diner chef and the drinking gal live, with a rare sunny view of Sommerville Place through their observing window. And since they're using Voltic, we went ahead and put another latrine in here with 2 sinks, because why not? So let's get out of here and go check out the
Out here,
next
you gotta
feature.
take things one day at a
This
time.
building here is a building for transient residents. I currently only have 11 residents in this place, but this is bed 13 and bed 14. These are set up to receive someone that might be new to town or somebody just passing through. Alright, so let's go back up to the front. We had the marquee showing us we had food and drinks, general store and public toilets. We visited those. Next we're going to check out the pool room, clothing and hair, and snack shack. So what you might have not noticed before with Sommerville Place, there's an actual road that led to it. And this next path takes us along what's left over of the old driveway. You can see these are old smashed pieces of asphalt. So we come through here. Of course, we already went to the transient quarters. Notice I've got turrets up here on top of this place, and then I've got a turret station down here with another 9 or 10 turrets, and they're all focused on this spot right here. This is a spawn spot for raiders, gunners, or wild dogs. So this is plenty of turrets to deal with those. So this is the original building, which I've repaired the roof using Shaw's method of using ball trap. Brought this bear sign from some close ranger station. Originally, I didn't think I was going to do anything with these windows, and so I put a barn door here so that you can just shut off these broken windows. I've since put windows here. I'll be honest with you, I don't like the results. It looks, to me, absolutely terrible. But I added some windows where there wasn't any. In fact, it looks like I have a gap up here. I might just get rid of all those windows later. But at least the settlers can close it off, so there's no breeze. I was much more successful with all the other interior windows. In fact, if I switch to build, you can see that this glass window has the border of the window that I use there. Just a hint there to the left of the window is the circular glass that I dropped into the middle. At this, notice I have that happiness is 100 there, 11 people in the settlement. Let me close this. So here is a warehouse wall that I put here to close the gap to these broken windows. I could not find any way to repair them. And then I just use a warehouse window to replace this spot. Inside here, I have replaced all of the ceilings with shack upper ceilings to provide overhead cover for the beds here. This bed can be moved, but these two beds cannot be moved at all. So I had to leave them here, and then they have to get overhead cover from the shack walls that are in the ceiling now. Notice that I have these sundry items, which are on the floor. No matter how often I arrange these up here in the shelves, attacks or settlers just happen to ruin things. This globe constantly falls over. We'll fix that for now, but it won't last. Alright, so let's get out of here. And the two original children are the only farmers in this place, the only settlers doing food production. As I said, we have 11 settlers here, and so I only need 12 food, and that's exactly what we have here. Let me close out that build center again. So then down here, I've got a guard mount up here facing to the southeast with the turrets. It's not really much attacks coming from that direction, but I built that down here. Notice it's one of the few places I have my wire extending through the horizon, and then it comes down underneath the shack platforms to the other windmill. I don't actually know if I've really ever connected this to my main power supply, and this is the one place where I was able to get water for my water purifiers. And you might be saying, well, there's no water purifier there. This is where I have my water purifier station, not touching the land, or not touching the water. Now, how do I do that? There's exactly one, well, maybe 2 pixels to where you actually can get any water to a water purifier, and that is down here in this corner. There's this one little spot where you can actually put a water purifier, and there it is. It's right here somewhere. Yep, there it is. There you see them. It's went green. So once I place water purifiers there, then I would use the group select with another object to move it up on the hill where I put my water station. I don't really know why I put this outhouse here, since I have more toilets here than any other settlement, but I used the outhouse in an earlier build here, so I figured I've built it, I might as well use it instead of scrap it. I had a cat trap here. I'm not currently chasing a new trap. I have 2 cats and 1 dog. The 2 cats giving me 10 each bonus happiness, and the dog giving me 10 as well. So this is the pool room, and my headcanon is that this is the original barn that this farm would have had, although when I found it there was no barn. I had to build it from scratch. Look at that, I've got ice cold Gwyneth Pale available. And so my headcanon is that this would have been the original barn, and so I added originally regular barn doors, but I did not like how much of the terrain they took up, so I replaced it with this garage door. I thought it was a lot better. This might be a good time to talk about my wiring here. Notice that I got wiring coming down from this light down to here, and then this wire, which is down here, is actually connected underneath the settlement, not the settlement, the shack floor here on stilts, and it's all connected to that power source, and that goes here, which feeds my marquee, and it feeds this light over here, all underneath, so that I have nice clean lines to wherever I have power. So inside here, I actually, and this is not connected to anything, I put a logic gate for an electrical wiring system here for the sole purpose of holding the rack. Unlike almost every item in game, the rack actually allows items to move through the rack. Almost everything else in this game, if it looks like it can have something move through it, it cannot. But the rack is perhaps unique, there might be other examples, of actually having an empty space in the middle that actually counts as empty, which allows me to hang the rack here, well, if I'd gotten it right the first time, on the prong from the logic gate. I actually tried a smaller power coupling, but it kept falling off, and I found this logic gate stuck out enough to work. So that's a good spot. Notice that I have on the weapon racks the pull cues for people to use, and this one that's hanging down vertically, there's some kind of glitch that if you move one of these weapons racks with the pull cue on it, it rotates whatever's in the weapon rack 90 degrees down. I thought it was a pretty cool look, so I left it there. I have a little coffee station here. I need to drop a hot plate here at some point to put the coffee machine on there. This is about the cleanest newspaper I could find in the game. And some preserved cigarettes. I actually have cigarette. The lit cigarette here keeps falling off. It doesn't like staying where it's supposed to be. And then this stogie has fallen as well. So many of these things fall through the land when you zone in and out. So anyways, we're back to the marquee directing us to the clothing, hair, and snack shack. Now, in this particular place, I actually wanted to challenge myself to learn how to build a multi-level structure up increasing grade. You know, instead of just having wasted terrain that you can't build on, I wanted the challenge of actually building something useful and using the terrain as part of the build. So in this particular case, I like to use the roofs for warehouses to fill some of the terrain instead of using ramps for everything. I find they blend in really well with the terrain pretty much. But then I finished this with ramps going up the rest of the way. My snack bar guy is not here. So this is the snack bar, and then you can go up here and you see there's actually some advertisements for the clothing store before you even get inside. And I've got these armor racks serving as mannequins to display different kinds of
Only
clothes.
thing better than getting pissed is picking a fight.
And my
Am I
green
right?
dress lady is not here. I actually used this chest to cover up a piece of dirt. See, its buddy is over here. But I haven't decided to do anything with this under the stair area, so I didn't put a chest there or anything. So this is the hair salon. Now I don't actually have a settlement worker assigned to the haircut station. This is because in my headcanon, the gal that sells the clothes can double as somebody cutting hair for, you know, one of the 10 other residents or the random people that come through and want a haircut. So I didn't assign a settler to that, but I'm missing out on like a 5 or 10 point happiness bonus by not using this. The option I have is to use my guard for that, so I could do that since a guard doesn't contribute to happiness. This bed is actually where the guy that runs the snack bar downstairs sleeps, and he sleeps there and he mans that snack bar more than most people. So up here this lady has 4 doors in her apartment. One going downstairs and one coming out to the side. Now this side area, originally I built this stairway because I was having trouble getting up and down when I was doing the electricity. So as you see here, I have electricity coming from my water site, and then I have another bit of electricity up here. And so I have all of my wires running along the side here, so unless you're pointed out by me, you're not really going to notice all of that. I did mention the wires coming out of my water supply. These wires feed almost all of the juice throughout the settlement. So while my fusion generator is over here, and you see I have a power supply down there. What are these things called again? Power conduit. Yeah, power conduit. So really, this fusion generator only has 2 wires coming off of it. One to the barn, and then it has another one that sends down to this conduit down here. And then that conduit sends to my water bank, and that actually sends wires to most of the settlement. So anyways, let's go back up to this lady's apartment. What a great view we have right here, huh? In fact, that's one of the reasons why I put a guard station up here. Not that I'm really worried about any attacks, but this is a great vantage point.
It's as simple as that.
For my guard. You can see all of this to the south and west from here. But there's not really enemy spawn points to here, but this is really a great vista when the sun's out, which is rare in this place. Meanwhile, we're back in this lady's apartment. You know, I haven't decorated it yet. She doesn't even have a table or a radio. But this is where the green dress lady sleeps. This is the first balcony I've made where I actually have put a balcony gate using the same picket fence that I'm using for my balcony wall. I don't really like the way that it clips through the wall here, but an NPC can go through the door when it's open. But this gives a nice vista of Sommerville Place, if you're interested. Notice that I have a Brahmin trough. I don't have a Brahmin in this settlement yet. I might either buy one or I might trap one later. So that's the gate out of there. And then I only have these 2 turrets here. There's not really any spawns that come over the wall there. All of the spawns in this area actually come just to the north of this left corner. In fact, look, there's some debris of one of the dogs that attacked us. And so I have plenty of turrets to fight anything that spawns right here. They're rather effective. I hear them go off and the things are dead immediately. But if anything gets through them, these guys can take care of them on their way down here to the main area. Which, by the way, which is where the one dog lives, in his doghouse with his dog bowl. And that pretty much, here's that ugly windows I was talking about. I really don't like the way these windows came out. I got this weed whacker from a nearby
That'll
town.
be off murdering a pint. This'll do.
I haven't necessarily decided to put anything. I had it over here behind the workbench, but I moved it when I was making windows. Yeah, I really don't like the look of these windows. I might get rid of them completely. But here's another example of the wiring. See, the wiring goes from here straight up along the wall, so you don't really notice it. And then, yeah, above eyeline, the wiring goes to the various turrets and stuff. But that's really about the only time. Most of the time when you're walking along, you're not even noticing those wires. It's a perfect example underneath the house here is where I have this power conduit. That power conduit has one wire that goes to the vault. And above the vault I have these two street lights. And this is one of the only cases where I have the street lights wires connected to each other. And pretty much everything going to the vault and around kind of comes through here.
Yes?
One of the things that bothers me about Vault-Tec building is you have to connect at least one wire from whatever source into the vault in order to
Frost's
get
coming in
all of the
pretty good.
walls and all of the
Yes?
floors to radiate the electricity. Once you put this one on here, then you can build one of these radiating power conduits anywhere in the vault, and it'll take care of 3 panels worth of radiation for you. But you have to wire one to the edge of your vault, to the outside, in order for it to get power. It's a little bit annoying. So let's see, I don't really think there's much else I need to cover. Here's another example of me using the warehouse roofs as a way to cover up the ugly flat walls of using a foundation. So these ugly flat wells, I don't really like them very much, but you see this areas where I've done anything with them are actually right on the boundary line. In fact, this wire here is right along the buildable boundary. If I go into build mode, oh look, I'm outside the buildable boundary here. Here's my buildable boundary here, and look at that, there's the edge. I like to build right up to the edge. You can see that power conduit way off in the distance. But I really like to try to use as much of the buildable area as I can. Notice that the vault, diner, and overseer's bedroom are right up against the buildable area in this back corner. And going back along this way, that guard shack is actually on the outer edge of the buildable area for part of it. So like parts of it are outside. And then I showed you this ladder or this stairway going down here. This is right on the border of the buildable area. I have my water supply area right on the border and half hanging out of the buildable area. I just really like using as much as the space as they'll let me use. So I don't think there's really much else to show. I mean, I didn't really mention, but this is my caravan spot. Got Lucas Miller, he's here. This campfire came with the settlement. I dropped another campfire here next to my grill, just for some RP purposes. And that's pretty much my entire settlement. Hope that's interesting. And that's all I've got. End.